It's mid-year. You've been working hard, grinding and grafting day in, day out. Not a single day missed of attendance. You've been chopping, changing, and trying every single study strategy under the sun. But for some flabbergasting, gobsmacking, nonplussing reason, the marks are just not adding up. It's not balancing. Yes, those were real words. Google them. And in this episode, part 2 with third-year accounting sciences student at the University of Pretoria, Thato Pheeha, we dive deep into a study approach that might just take you out of that deadlock zone with your module marks. In this one, we get super tactical, and Thato shares his learning pyramid study strategy for students to drastically improve your processes and therefore your performance. We chat about practical study strategies, brainwashing yourself to 10x lecture effectiveness, what's holding back smart people, and so much more. This episode was an absolute blast, and if you haven't already, please check out episode 1. It was fantastic. It's filled with timeless gems of study wisdom on the road to CASA, and I hope you enjoy. Quick one, guys, my travelers on the road. Please, again, there's only one thing that I would love for you to do today, and that's let me know exactly what you'd like to hear, who you'd like to see, what topics you'd like to hear, everything from networking, from in terms of the guests, CA trainees, CAs in business, CA entrepreneurs. Please let me know, guys, what you want, who you want, so that we can make this show even better and more tailored to everything that you desire for your career. Please let me know by filling in the form. It takes no longer than 2 minutes. Please, guys. If anything, it could take you 20 seconds because it's so short. But it just helps us make sure that we are getting the best guests possible. It helps, obviously, with the growth of the show because we'll be creating more tailored content for you. So please, I would appreciate it so much if you could just go to the link below, even right now, just before the episode or after the episode, to let me know what you guys want. And also, if you have not already, as I said in the beginning, listen to part 1 because this is part 2, and Thato's story, his amazing story, is the bulk of the first part. So you don't want to miss that if you have not already listened to it. Otherwise, on to part 2. I want to go to now this new strategy that you have learned through a particular person that I would love to have her on the podcast.
Okay.
But a new strategy, very interesting and how should I say this? Unorthodox in your approach to lectures and basically just studying the course. Guys, this one is huge if you feel like you've been struggling to maximize on your lectures. But brother, can you please just walk me through it?
Funny that you bring that up. But yeah, so I'll start off by saying this. If anyone is getting a 30, a 40, and thinking that they can never pass, hey, dude, I come from there. Like there's something that we tend not to know. The approach is everything in accounting and in anything in life. The way you approach something is the determining factor. So you're not stupid. You just don't know. Like those 75% distinction candidates are not telling you what they are doing. So my marks have skyrocketed because I started doing things differently. So this is Yvonne, CASA from England. The same guy who managed to get me the job also got me to speak with Yvonne. Yeah, the CASA as my learning strategist.
Wow.
Like, hey, I won't forget the first time we were talking. So we're on a Zoom meeting. She's like, dude, what is valuable. Like, what makes you think you can pass? Like, how do you approach your, Joe, you must study, Joe, you must read. Like,
The usual.
You must read every day. And then she's like, oh, okay. And what's your marks now? And I'm like, yeah, we're trying our best. Then, she tells me that if you were to think about all of that you just told me now, what makes you pass? I'm like, knowledge. Then she's like, but don't you have knowledge because you are reading every day? And now, like, because she was hearing me out, and I'm always saying, yeah, man, text is this, FPS valuations are what. But I'm not getting that 70. What am I doing incorrectly? Then, she told me, questions. You don't pass because of what you know. You pass because you know how to use what you know.
You know how to apply it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, that day, everything changed for me. Because after that, I questioned a lot of things first. But fortunately, she was kind enough to tell me at least that this is what she thinks I should do. So, she gave me a few tips here and there. And then, this is why I say failure is also good.
Mm-hmm.
From all of my past failures and experiences, I kind of like came up with an overview or process that I think is worth sharing to people.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Please do.
So, I call it the learning pyramid. It goes with steps. Remember, even if a pyramid is triangular and you start there at the top with a small thing, everything is important to make that whole shape, right? So none of these must be left out. It's a step-based approach, but I don't want anyone to be like, this tip at the top is not that important, because everything ties in together to be one. So what I did as a mistake is I would be doing one and leaving the other, and I'm wondering why I'm limited to a certain mark. Yeah. So anyway, the first thing you need to do is you need to pre-read before you go to lectures. I used to wonder why the hell lecturers used to tell me pre-read. I'm like, what you talking about? Pre-test. What?
You skim through the thing. It's like, I know this. We'll probably go through this in the slides. It's in the slides.
You're even fortunate. You skimmed through it. Me, I didn't even open the book. But so we get to a point where I realize now. So pre-read, but interestingly enough, don't just pre-read. Do a question before you go to class. Ooh. So I'm like, how can you do a question when you don't know?
Where's this in the pyramid?
It's the first one.
The first thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Number one, and not the most important. The order is not in order of importance. Mm-hmm. It's the steps that are supposed to be approached. Everything is, for me.
So it's in sequential order.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So number one, you need to do your pre-reading and question before the lecture.
You'll ask me why if you've never learned something. So the brain is pretty interesting. I also love the brain, because there were times in my life where, I didn't believe in myself, but then the minute I believed in myself, things just happen. So there's a secret. This mind has a lot of power, and we don't give it the power that it has, or we underestimate the power that it has, rather. But anyway, story for another day. So you kind of are tricking your brain, getting it ready for class just by doing the question. It's unorthodox. People, just try it and you'll know what I'm talking about. So you do the pre-class question. You are already preparing for class. You're asking yourself, damn, okay, what am I going to be asking? I already know what I don't know by doing the question.
Oh, yeah, because now when you see the question, you can see what you don't know because
Yeah.
you got messed up by this part. But maybe this was like pretty foundational. This was like
Yeah,
conceptual
something
framework.
you knew from last
You know,
year.
maybe something you knew from last year. It's
Yeah.
connected. So now you have this like puzzle.
Yes. You see,
Mm.
perfect description. Puzzle. So you pick up, by doing that question, you pick up the piece and you put it here and there. You're building up a full picture, and that full picture will be complete when the learning pyramid is done.
Mm-hmm.
So we move on now. You go to the lecture. Now, remember you did a pre-class question before you got in, and maybe pre-reading. Doesn't have to be long. 30 to 45 minutes, the pre-reading, by the way. Nothing, just to get yourself prepared for what you are going to learn. You will get the value. Like, remember, your brain has questions already.
Yes.
When you're going into class now.
Yes.
So, excuse me.
Not a problem.
So, you get to class when the lecturer is speaking, and then there's a word that you saw in that question, maybe that, what the hell? Like, but guess what? Your brain is like, okay, the lecturer is speaking about that word. So what are you? You're focused now. You're focused. So each time when you are in the lecture, and this is number 2, we're in the lecture, we listen attentively and make sure your brain is active. You're asking questions, whether it's, you can write it down, because this doesn't have to apply to a guy who's like me, who's not shy, who raises his hand, hey, ma'am, and disturb the class. No, you can even write your question down. Question everything, single thing that the lecturer is saying in the class. Because what are you doing? You are engaging, and you are more likely to find value in the lecture that way. And you pay more attention to the lecture rather than you hear text, capital gain. No, it's more like, oh, wait a minute, that thing. Hey, section 9C, hey, she's saying something I might have seen. So, yeah, therefore you question everything. If you're scared, you can always go to the lecturer afterwards. They are so kind, those people, guys. Anyway, that's another step later that I'll talk about.
Interestingly, on that same thing, it's like when you don't prepare for a lecture, your lecture has a level of value of, let's say, on a scale of 1 to 100, 20.
Yeah.
Right? If you just attend without preparing, you're actually capping the amount of value that you get out of the lecture.
Yes, very
but when
much.
you prepare, as you're saying with this, doing the pre-reading, doing a question, which is, I think that's key. You are maximizing the amount of lecture that you get per minute of the lecture.
Yes.
Like, I remember, I think another aspect is also whether you slept. Those are things as well that really mess up how much value you get from it.
Please. Yeah, but take care of yourself, guys.
Yeah.
Like, even gymming if you want to. You don't have to. You can even jog if you want.
Yeah.
Shaya push-up, 5 push-ups and fun.
Yeah.
You are preparing yourself. That's it. It's important. Like, you know those cliche things where the doctor's like, you have a headache. And I used to get so frustrated because I'm like, I have epilepsy. But just drink water. Sleep more. It does make a big difference. It makes a big difference. So even for the lectures, just drink water, sleep more. Like, you get no value by doing like the work one and then you sleep for 5 hours, and then now it's like almost like you're playing rat race, catching up all the time, because now you get to the lecture, you don't get any value in the lecture, then you are running, and then now, okay, I'm behind, okay, I'll deal with that the other time, and so hence this whole approach that already before you go, you've prepared yourself. Staying up to date, in fact, is key to this whole thing working. Working out the whole pyramid and all.
Staying up to date. So wait, let's go back. So 1 is pre-reading.
Yes.
2 is do a question.
No. We still first at. Oh, you mean the pre-class question?
Yes.
The
pre-class question, not the questions.
Number 1. Yeah, it's the pre. Yeah.
So the base of the pyramid is the 1.
Yeah.
We do pre-reading.
Yeah.
Then 2.
Yeah.
Would you say it's part of the same base?
Yeah, the pre. So it's before we go to class.
Before class, you do pre-reading and you do pre-question.
Yeah.
During class,
yeah,
you are attentive.
Yeah,
I feel like these two do a lot of the work.
Already.
Like, because doing the pre-reading means you know what you're going to go through during class, means that you get to engage at a higher level. I already see it, you know, with some of the questions that I hear some people ask. I can tell that they're not thinking about, so what did ma'am say there? What is that thing? You're actually thinking on a higher level, and so you can engage with it on a much more stimulating level. Like, the lecture is actually interesting because it's not actually boring at the higher level. It's actually quite interesting once you get past the, okay, this is the basic rule.
Sure.
You know?
That's my chat.
So that's during the lecture.
Yeah.
Then after?
Yeah. We move then to number 3. So, guys, when you get home, you've already attended the lecture. So this is what I've been doing. Even before year test 2, I was doing this as a mistake.
Okay.
Dude, if you understood in class, why are you still looking at the lecture notes again? Like the lecture, you're wasting time. Here's why I say that. Like, you already know that thing. And how will you know that you know it or you don't? I'd say rather first, do a question immediately after class. So that's number 3. Remember, this whole thing is very question based.
Yeah.
Because application is everything. Even in life, dude, it's all about practicing. No one is gonna care that you know how to do a deferred tax calculation. In that job that you have, it's gonna be more about applying what you know. So you're not gonna be valuable because you studied it. If you can't talk to people, that's also something that so you have to be good at communicating what you know.
Yeah.
So that's why questions are very important. So do the question. If you feel like the person who felt like, hey, I didn't understand, that's the person who can go through the lecture again, like those slides. What you will rather do is, for example, for things like FRK, and this brings me into the detail of every module has a different strategy, by the way. They are all different.
Is that part of the pyramid or?
No, that's just something else.
Just a rule.
Maybe I'll add on at the end. So FRK is maybe I'm going to use that as an example that, okay, we're in the lecture, so I can maybe read through the IFRS standard rather. Not necessarily go through the lecture slides again. Then maybe, okay, I'm ingraining more how to apply the principles or understanding. Then the question is it's a very important part to this. If you don't do the question, don't do this at all. Do the question. Once you do the question, you are seeing your gaps. Remember, even before you went to class, you did a question.
You knew some gaps.
You already, so that puzzle is starting to get filled up. The problem with us is, smart people are sometimes stupid. I'm lying. Smart people tend to be afraid to be told that they don't know, or to be reminded that they don't know something. So I know why I'm that guy. I've been the person as well. You know why we are scared to do questions? I don't want to know that I don't know.
I don't want to know that. Because it's scary, dog. It's like, really, I'm gonna do a question, get an answer wrong, and feel stupid. I'm not stupid.
I'm the smartest guy. I got 90s, bro. What are you talking about? So you're still stuck with your high school marks. Hey, Baba, this is real life. So anyway, so we get here now. Rather learn while you're still at home than learning the year test the way you're like, Maui.
I don't know this.
So when you do the question, you know, okay, this is where I'll get back to what. Okay, sharp. We move then. You've done the question. And remember, not just one. It's fine, maybe. So I have it like this throughout the week, maybe just one question, because you move on to the next thing the next day. And the lecturers, guys, I used to wonder why the lecturers are telling us, do question 2 today. I'm like, hey, dude, what's one? I'll study. No, there's a reason.
There's a reason.
That thing is what they know they taught you. That principle is applicable to today's lecture. So you are testing yourself on the knowledge that you had in the lecture.
So you must do it then.
Yes.
Urgency. Like,
Yes.
yeah.
There's already, you're not saving that question because there's a question bank filled with 15 questions that you're still going to have to do
There's
later.
more than enough
Don't
questions.
say I'm saving this question. It's to teach you the principle. So
of that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you do that question, and then now you're starting to get a comprehensive guide on, okay, this is what I don't know, this is what I might know. Sharp, you're building up. So as you learn throughout the week, you get to the weekend, now my weekend is more the question based. Like, so for
Question
everything
bank,
that,
all of the other questions.
everything that I've learned throughout the week, let's see. More questions. So as you can see, I said questions and questions. So if you take anything out of these questions, anyway. So you now have a full on. Okay, you see, IS 12. IS 8x, IS 12. You're nayo. Hey, it's showing me my granny. So now you know. This brings us to number 4. Consult, guys.
Boom. That's something that a lot of us miss.
Undervalued. But yet again, what would you consult on if you feel like you don't know everything? So I think maybe consultation is more useful if you are engaged. But even to those, dude, it will take you 5 hours to figure out something that the tutor will tell you in 15 minutes. Time is also a valuable resource, especially in what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, and in fact, the whole reason why I came up with this system is I saw that I'm lacking in time. And I was, remember, a lot of my friends have done CTA before me. They passed me, they went forward. So for CTA, managing time is one of the most important aspects because they flood you with work. Yeah. So already that's why I came up with a comprehensive system. Yeah. So
I feel like learning speed now is that's a very high leverage
true.
thing.
As long as if you're learning properly, even though you're doing it fast, because sometimes you can learn too fast, but you're not getting any value. So it has to be in the middle. That's why questions are sort of like the best approach to it, because that's how you know that you don't know whether you know or you know. Anyway, so we get to consulting because now you've done questions and you're like, okay, but hey, dude, I don't know why they're doing this. I always want to know why. And I have that, like, I'm like, I don't want to know. Okay, but for some modules, it's like text is the legislation.
Sometimes
you have to just know. But
even sometimes in tax, you can sort of see like what is SARS's incentive? What is their why did they have this section about it? Yeah.
So, but when you get to the point where you see that, bro, you can't understand. Even the tutors will tell you it's just like
sometimes,
that. That's how they rule. So, yeah, back to it. Like, you ask, you find out, and then you know why you are going wrong. Then, okay, you know, like, okay, this is, okay, sure. You've consulted. And then now maybe you're going to go back again and maybe try again. Because remember, it doesn't end there. You have to keep on testing. Like, this whole thing is more about questions, guys. It's their secret. Like, I'm going to give you this kind of view. Put Thato on this side and Lawrence on this side.
You and you, okay?
So Thato is the guy who fully engages in class but has never done a single question. Lawrence is the guy who doesn't even care about class but does questions all the time. I give you my word, Lawrence on the right will do way better.
I hear you.
Because that's what they ask in the...
That's what they ask in the thing.
Thing is, remember, they're not going to ask you what you know per se. Like, there's a thing that we think they're going to ask you, okay, I know IS 40 so much. What if they don't ask you the concept that you know? So, if you know how to apply everything, you are better off. So what am I? I put the two together and then
that's the recipe for success.
Thato number 1. I'm one with myself.
Torrents.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So yeah. So anyway, we move on to the last and final step. Yeah, step 5. People always get me wrong when I say it. I say, teach it like you are teaching a dummy.
Mm-hmm.
But I say that because if you can't explain to a grade R student, to them to get even, like, simplify accounting to the point that even a grade R student can kind of get a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm stretching it a bit. How are they going to understand deferred text? But I'm just trying to make a point come across. Whether it's to yourself on the mirror, if you are like that really introverted individual, or you're talking to your friends, it's always good to have friends around. I think in varsity, it's better that way. Hey, some of us, though, we've been here for so long that, hey, yeah, but anyway, that's a story.
No, man,
for
but
another day.
we met after. So
Yeah.
You've been here for long and we met here now.
So, yes, fortunately, there's those situations. But people around you, you start explaining. And guess what? When every time I explain this method to everyone, I'm learning it over and over again. Just even this method that I'm talking about, this learning pyramid. So imagine you now, you've studied, it's Monday now, you're going back to class. And then after class, your friend is like, hey, dude, I just don't understand this thing. And then now you go there, you explain it in such a crispy way, in a detailed manner, and simplified. If you can simplify anything, that means you understand it to its core.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if you say complicated words, but you don't know what they mean. So simplify it to the point. Like, that's why I said I always want to know why, because then I can create somewhat a way. I even maybe go to the extreme where I can equate it to something that's happening in my life, maybe. Like, remember, you learn also through familiarity. If you can attach something to something that you know, it's going to be engraved in your mind a little bit more.
Yeah, association improves memory.
Yes, it's a proven scientific fact. Like I said, I'm interested in the brain a lot. Yeah. So basically, in a nutshell, that's the whole learning pyramid. You apply all of those 5 steps. I don't care who you are. Guys, I was getting dirty. The first time when I looked at my marks at the media, I'm like, hey, man, which one is this one? Hey, who am I? But doing things correctly. Because it would be so crazy. Like, I would be able to answer questions in class or all of that, but get home is a different story. Or get to the test and the marks come back. It's a different story. No. It was just my approach.
It's just the process, just the strategy.
Everything, strategy based. Here's what I want, and this is what we get wrong. Dude, it's better if we're all winning. Not me alone. I try so much to get my friends to move with me too.
Yeah.
Or just even maybe it's also because I'm Christian, but I believe in service. So, like, you always have to include. The Bible says the number one thing to do is show love, right? So, I'm a person with love. So, I try my best to help people if I can. Yeah. So, I'll try my utmost best to meet people halfway. But that's the thing. I'll meet you halfway. I'm not going to go straight to you.
Yeah.
So you also have to want to learn.
Yeah.
That's where we get it wrong. If I can't force you to learn.
True. And so I've been speech coaching at Pretoria recently. I've got a part-time gig there. And I'm learning through teaching the kids that there is no such thing as teaching. It's only learning. Because you don't, like, the knowledge is not going to, it's not going to just, you're not going to force it down someone's throat.
Yes.
They are only going to learn it themselves.
Yeah.
When they're ready. You can take a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. The same thing goes with learning. You cannot teach someone. They can only learn something.
I'm going to add there, you as the teacher are always learning as well. So
okay, let's go back to the pyramid, dude. Because I think from one pre-reading, pre-question, 2 You attend. You're attentive.
Yes.
You attend attentively. 3, you consolidate with a question.
Yes.
With a question.
Very important. Yeah.
Question. 4, is it checking the question?
It's basically consulting after you've done the questions. Enough questions first, though.
Consulting on what you need to get some engagement,
clarity,
and grappling and clarity with. Yeah. So it's 1, pre-reading, pre-question. 2, attend attentively. 3, questions, consolidate with a question.
Yeah.
4, consolidate with consulting. Consultation. Yeah. And then 5, teach it.
Yes.
There was this interesting law from this book that I read at the beginning of the year called The Diary of a CEO. 33 Laws of Business and Life. I love the book. I think I'm going to be quoting this book for the rest of my life. But literally law number 2 in the book. So Stephen Bartlett's a multi-millionaire. He knows stuff. It's not like he doesn't know anything.
Yeah.
And he's an expert in marketing and really, really interesting stuff and useful stuff. But the second law of life of self-philosophy is to master it, you must create an obligation to teach it. So added on to that, that last principle that you've mentioned, which is key to teach it.
Very much.
To teach it, I'd say, so even taking inspiration from what I'm doing now, I try to these days write down, and I mentioned it in the previous episode, write down my lessons and convert them into an accessible format for other people to gain value from. So the podcast, in a lot of ways, is also my way to synthesize the lessons from my life and then share them so that I can learn from them and so that I can master my mistakes, not let them fade into obscurity, because mistakes have blessings. And
Facts.
That's what we have. So I would say to even add into that system as part of your teaching, make sure that you schedule when you're going to teach it. Schedule when you're going to, because you could even do it with the consultations. You could literally plan. So like, let's say you consult every Wednesday, plan to chat with your lecturer and teach the academic trainee about this topic, and then they'll check you. They'll say no here, yes here.
And in a way, it's funny you say that, because I do it indirectly without knowing that I'm doing it. So now, you see, there's always something to learn.
Always, right? Yeah. I'm learning too much now, though.
This
is amazing, dude.
Yeah.
Bro, to close us off.
Yes, sir.
The traditional question to provide that last bit of value to all the other aspiring CAs out there. If you could go back, talk to first year, second year, even high school Thato, what would you tell him?
An emotional question for me, because I feel like there's things that I could have done differently. So, but what I would rather tell that young boy who is confused and thinking that all that he's going through makes him like disadvantaged, is I'll tell him that every single challenge is building your character, and that you will understand in the future, because you're about to be one of the most valuable assets to everyone out there. I know I'm going to change the world. I don't want to lie to you. I know that. It's like, I don't even care when people don't see it. But I would tell him first to be more open-minded to, as you go through the challenge. Don't let that destroy you. Like, let it be a lesson. I was telling you that the reason why I never give up is because everything in my life, instead of a failure, it's a lesson. I learned something from it. That's the first thing that I'll tell him. The second thing is that, dude, like nice times, dude, why don't you just focus on what you're doing? Then you will have enough fun when the time comes. So I feel like there were
Delayed
points where I was,
gratification.
yes sir, I was not as focused as I should have been. I have so much potential, and it made those challenges even worse. So if you're out there and you're out there like wasting your time, dude, like you can get so much value from just pushing yourself hard first.
Yeah,
You'll
first,
have like you make your process even harder. I was already disadvantaged. I disadvantaged myself even more. So if there was something I could do differently there, my first year going out clubbing, whatever, I'd kind of like reduce that. Sure, it's good to have fun sometimes. You can't just be studying all the time, but rather the ratio differentiated. Yeah. By the way, I don't drink anymore.
Sure.
This is how serious I am about everything that I'm doing. I had to stop every single thing also. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you know yourself, if you can control yourself, but just give your full attention. When whatever you are doing, do it with I'm a Bible boy. Colossians chapter 3 verse 23. This is definitely a paraphrase, but God says whatever you touch with your hands or whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability as if you are representing me. So whatever you are doing out there, whether you're Christian or not, bruh, whatever you do, if you do it to the best, like you do it, like whatever you are doing, even if it's cleaning in the room, do everything to the best of your ability, then nothing will go wrong. Yeah. You're destined for greatness.
I'd say, to synthesize, number one, it's not failure, it's a lesson.
Yes, sir.
Number two, delay that gratification. You will be able to do it all. Yes, all of it. I promise you, bro.
Yeah.
In a few years. Just give it 5.
Yeah.
Well, I say give it 3. That's my new kind of. Just give it 3. You'll see in 3 years, a lot will be different if you just put your head down. And lastly, do it to the best of your ability.
Yes, sir.
Do it with excellence. And like, just to close that one off, there was this powerful quote from this internet. I think he's like a marketer or something. Some guy I saw on the internet named Andy Frisella.
Okay.
And he said, personal excellence is the ultimate rebellion. And it hit me because I realized that, one way to make a change is to go outside and revolt and say, I want change, burn buildings and vandalize. That's one way of brokering change
and rebellion
and positive change and rebellion. But the most powerful and the one that's long lasting is becoming amazing, becoming the best you possibly can. The one that's violent is short-lived. It's short-lived. It seldom lasts. But the peaceful protest, the protest of excellence, that stuff lasts. That stuff lasts, bro.
Me, brother.
So that's a huge one. Just understanding that your personal excellence, that is the fight. Yeah. That is the fight where you get to fight against all the evils in the world. And yeah, man, young Thato out there, young first year, young second year, like, just do it to the best of your ability. Yeah. Thato, you're spot on. Just make sure you do it. Yeah. Colossians chapter 3 verse 23. If you're religious, go check it out in the Bible. If you're not, go check it out in the Bible. There's a lot of there's a lot of wisdom there,
principles
man.
There.
Lots.
Yeah.
But that was fire episode. Yo. Tito, where can we catch you? Where can we catch you?
Yeah. I'm not too much on social media because I'm pushing, but it's Pt2.
Pt2. So it will be linked. It will be linked in the show notes.
THIDO_SA on Instagram, and then my YouTube for those who wanna study and listen to some mixes. I make soulful transitions there on YouTube, also by Pt2, and you can get a lot of value from my study mixes.
They are fire. I was listening to it. I think it was on the road last year on the N1.
Yeah.
Those mixes are fire, guys. Please do check out Tito's mixes. They'll be linked in the show notes. Guys, that was amazing. Please share this amazing value. I feel like there's going to be a part 1 and part 2 for this.
Interesting.
It's nice. It's dense. So I think there's a lot of value that we can segment. But I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have not already, please follow this. Please share this with other aspiring CAs all over the country. I love you guys. I hope that it does not end, but it begins in CASA.
Let's get it.
Yes, sir.